Dianne Feinstein and her husband, who's an enormously wealthy man, their connections with the Chinese government. And Feinstein has spent a career sitting on the Senate Intelligence Committee. Isn't that amazing? And there's a story in Politico and the San Francisco Chronicle and other places now. We are just learning today that Feinstein had a Chinese spy connection she didn't know about. Her driver. A staffer in U.S. Senator Dianne Feinstein's San Francisco office was fired a few years ago after being linked to Chinese spying in the Bay Area. According to Politico magazine's story on Silicon Valley espionage, the Feinstein staffer was suspected of providing political intelligence, but nothing classified, they write, to his handlers, with one former intelligence official telling author Zach Dorfman that the suspected informant was run by officials based at the local Chinese consulate. A local source who knew about the incident confirmed to us that the FBI showed up at Feinstein's office in Washington about 5 years ago to alert the then chairwoman of the Senate Intelligence Committee that her driver was being investigated for possible Chinese spying. Besides driving her around when she was in California, the staffer also served as a gopher in her San Francisco office and as a liaison to the Asian American community, even attending Chinese consulate functions for the senator. Man, they must have been laughing behind her back. According to our source, the intrigue started years earlier when the staffer took a trip to Asia to visit relatives and was befriended by someone who continued to stay in touch with him on subsequent visits. That someone was connected with the People's Republic of China's Ministry of State Security. He didn't even know what was happening, that he was being recruited, says our source. He just thought it was some friend. Well, the FBI apparently concluded the driver hadn't revealed anything of substance. They interviewed him, and Dianne forced him to retire, and that was the end of it, says the source. Dianne forced him to retire. It's a friendly. None of her staff ever knew what was going on, the source said. They just kept it quiet. Dianne Feinstein should not be on the Senate Intelligence Committee, should she? And you will never convince me that this driver didn't hear her on the phone talking about intelligence information, or necessarily look over her shoulder while she may have been reading something. I don't believe that for 2 minutes. Not at all. And it's funny how this has been kept secret for years, to protect her. I've always wondered about the China connection with her and her husband because it's substantial. Maybe when Mr. Mueller's done dealing with Manafort, maybe he'll get into Feinstein and her husband. What do you think, folks? You think that's possible? No, that's not possible because she's a lib. Nobody will bother her. But for years, she had a driver who was a spy. But she didn't know. And she's on the Senate Intelligence Committee. Pretty incredible.